Today we're going to dig a little deeper into how to actually sustain a neutral mindset under pressure and how to apply it across fitness, leadership, and daily life. Let's get started. Welcome to the Be Limitless podcast, where we talk about building a functional mindset, nutrition, and fitness. We break limits not just in our body, but in our mind, learning to truly become unbreakable. I'm Vicki, and today we're going to continue our deep dive into the book, Getting to Neutral by Trevor Moawad. In part one, we learned about what neutral thinking is, accepting reality, removing emotion, and focusing on what's next. And this is just a little deeper into the same, right? Part two, we're taking it further. We're talking about how to stay neutral when pressure hits, when emotion starts to run high, when your old patterns start to kind of come back into play and fight back. That's kind of where we're going to pick up today. Remember, neutral isn't a place, it's a practice. Now, neutral sounds easy when things are calm, right? The real test is when they aren't. When you're tired, when you're frustrated, you're overwhelmed, that's when neutrality matters the most. Pressure triggers emotion. That's only human. But neutral thinking teaches you to slow that response down and to pause before reacting. Neutral isn't natural. It's trained. You have to build it like any other muscle. The pause between reaction and response is a superpower. I want you to think of neutral as your internal speed governor. It doesn't stop you, it stabilizes you, it regulates you, so that when the world starts to speed up, you don't crash. So Vicki, how do we get back to neutral when we start to lose it? Well, here's a simple 3-step reset I use with clients inspired by the methods in Getting to Neutral, but built for everyday life. Number 1, recognize the spiral. The first step is awareness. Catch the emotional spike before it controls your words or actions. The earlier you notice the shift, that initial bout of tension, the negative language, the racing thoughts, the easier it is to recover. You can't reset what you don't recognize. Number 2, replace emotion with execution. Neutral is not about ignoring feelings. It's about replacing emotion with action. Ask, what's the next thing I can do right now? That might mean adjusting your breath, resetting your stance, rewiring your inner dialogue. So for me, for example, when I first started CrossFit, I was horrible at all of the Olympic lifts. They scared me. I didn't know what the heck I was really doing, all that kind of stuff. The normal stuff, right? And I was on YouTube and I was watching a bunch of Olympic lifters and I was like, wow, they have all these weird ritual type things, right? Before they even walk up to the bar, and then some of them have things that they also do at the bar. So I was like, okay, well, that's kind of interesting. And then I remembered from some business and speaking courses that I had taken where they spoke about taking a superhero stance before an important meeting or whatever, right? So this is going to sound really, really silly, but I promise you I did it. In my head, I would sit there and go, okay, how do I need to almost kind of fake it till I make it, right? So I would sit there and do my whole little Superwoman, or Wonder Woman thing and whatever, and kind of just take that quick second to put my head in a better place, right? Before freaking out over what is this going to feel like? Is it too heavy? Whatever, right? Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But what I can promise you is that the way I felt whether I succeeded or failed in that lift was significantly different one way versus the other. It's not about perfection. It's about forward movement, one neutral action at a time. Action is the fastest way back to neutral. Number 3, reaffirm your language. Moab's research showed that spoken negativity is 10 times more powerful than internal negativity. So whenever stress hits or you're kind of freaking out, just know that your words really do matter. Okay? Replace things like "this is awful" with "this is what it is." Replace "I can't do this" with "this is really hard, but I can do one more thing, one more aspect of it," right? I can keep going. Words create state. Speak neutral. Now, neutral isn't just a thought pattern, it's a lifestyle. You have to build the daily habits that reinforce stability and awareness in that routine of that seesaw back and forth until it just becomes who you are. I'm going to give you 3 ways to build your neutral muscle. Number 1, start your day without emotion. Before you pick up your phone or scroll through the news, take a minute or 5 or 10 to center yourself. Neutral mornings might include things like breathing, box breathing, a little bit of movement, maybe journaling, maybe saying a statement to yourself like, "Today I will control what I can control." Those types of things set the tone for functional thinking throughout your day. Because if you can stay neutral, then you'll stay grounded. Number 2, limit negative input. This one's a little easier said than done sometimes, I think. This day and age, I feel like the majority of media, whether it's traditional news media or various podcasts, there's just so much out there that is like all gloom and doom and negative and argumentative and divisive, right? But at the end of the day, those things just create more chaos in our minds, right? Moab often said, don't listen to things that make you weaker. He was referring to, news, gossip, songs, even podcasts. All of those things feed into the natural chaos that exists in our life in general. And the more stuff that you're going through, the less amount of tolerance you genuinely have to take in those negative inputs. Your mental inputs shape what your emotional output actually is. So if you protect your inputs, they will help to build your mindset. Last, but certainly not least, debrief your day, but do it in facts. Before bed, review your day, not from an emotional standpoint, right? But review it in facts instead of, wow, I really effed up today. I did not, I should have done this and I would have done that. And, the kids were crazy and, right? That feeling. Instead of that, say things like, I didn't meet my standard today. List out the things maybe where you missed what your standard was for the day, but remove the emotion from it, right? Do it just in a straight up, like a list, right? And then sit there and look at it and tell yourself, tomorrow I will adjust this and I can adjust this and I will do this way, right? You set up a plan and it creates more of a neutral, level playing field in your own mind instead of spinning kind of out of control, right? Like how we tend to do. Neutral debriefs remove judgment from those emotional situations without tying it into the progress that you particularly made, right? You can sit and look at and say, I did these things and these things or whatever were really well. I could have done better at this set of things. And out of this set of things, this is what I'm going to do tomorrow. Maybe it's only a couple, right? But pick what you're going to do differently or try differently so that you continue that forward movement and momentum so that things overall end up better without an emotional attachment to either. Not one extreme and definitely not the other. Reflect factually, adjust functionally. Okay, so now we're going to chit chat a little bit about real life neutral. So we're going to take a couple of real life examples because it's not a theory, it's a practice, right? So, example number one, you're in training, you're working out, whatever that looks like for you. You miss a lift, or you miss a target pace on your run, or whatever that particular thing looks like, right? A negative mindset says, damn, I suck, right? A negative mindset is you throw like I used to do, throw my jump rope or whatever clear across my garage floor, right? Or kick something, punch something, yell and scream, leave the room, throw a temper tantrum. I've seen it before. It happens. Positive mindset is, oh, that's okay. I'll get it next time. Sorry, if you're one of those people, God bless you. I'm very happy for you. That does not work for me. But what does work is switching to a more neutral mindset. Things like saying things like, wow, okay, that bar was heavy. Maybe my timing was off. I'll make this adjustment and try again. And that's really what we want to do. We want to be factual, functional, so we can move forward. Example number 2, work and leadership. You have a big project and it fails. Negative mindset is, oh, we're doomed. I'm going to get fired and I must suck as a leader, that type of stuff. Positive mindset is, it'll all work out. You don't know how. You have no plan. There's no thought behind it, but it'll just magically all happen. Have you experienced life like that? Because I surely haven't. But a neutral mindset says things like, well, we missed the mark. Let's analyze this. Let's fix it. What do we got to do? What's that next thing? Let's keep it moving. Neutral thinking keeps leaders calm, and calm is contagious. If you're a personal trainer, if you're a coach, if you're a manager, if you're a mom, if you're a dad, bad days happen, and we're going to feel all kinds of what I like to call wacky noodle things, right? That send us into that sense of chaotic spinning. And when you're interacting with other people, we don't know the stuff that other people are dealing with. And in all likelihood, they could be experiencing something similar in their own way because of their own circumstances. You put those two things together and it can go one of two ways. It can either you both dive down into that misery, and because we all know misery loves company. So we can all dive down in there, whatever, together and wallow and waste God knows how much time being completely unproductive, not moving anything forward, and leaving the conversation feeling heavy and without a plan to continue to move forward, versus shifting your mindset immediately, right? Learning to recognize it and learning to implement a different self-dialogue, whether it's external or internal, to shift that thinking a little bit. Then when you're interacting with the people that are also going through something similar that don't know how to do that, you don't get pulled down into it. You're able to swim on the surface, even though somebody is tugging at your leg a little, and what ends up happening is you both kind of level out. You kind of bring that person up a little bit. And even though they might pull you down, you're not so far down that your entire day is wasted on feeling like crap or being angry or frustrated or depressed or fill in the blank. You can feel the things. I kind of want you to feel all of the things. Things do go wrong and plans fall apart, relationships shift. Neutral thinking doesn't deny you the emotions that you're having. It just doesn't drown in them. It says this moment hurts or this moment might suck, but I have the power to choose the response that I'm having and what I choose to do about it. Neutral thinking isn't about being a robot. It's not about being emotionless. It's not about like shutting off. It's not functional and it's not reality. Neutral thinking is about learning how to be more effective. It's not pretending things are okay when they're not. It's remembering that you're still able to move forward. You're still in control of the thing that you do next and subsequently what happens next. So here's your challenge for this week. When pressure hits, catch yourself mid reaction and pause. Then, what I want you to do is take a deep breath or speak a neutral sentence, make a neutral decision, something in that vein, right? Learn to recognize the moment when it happens and learn to just pause and take a second before doing anything else. Pay attention to how much clarity starts to return when emotion isn't driving the wheel. How much easier it is to pivot and take a new action when you can shift out of that emotional, hyper chaotic state, mental state, right? Shifting out of that and putting yourself into a more neutral place. Once you've done that, towards the end of the week, come back to this video and comment with something that you experienced. Take a moment. I would love to hear it. A moment that you had where you were feeling that chaotic kind of out of control negativity, etc., and where you were able to shift into neutral and kind of what you felt about that shift into neutral. What happened next? Thanks for tuning in to the Be Limitless podcast. Make sure you like and subscribe. Share this with a friend who might need a mental reset and keep training your neutral mindset every day. Again, I'm Vicky, reminding you to be unbreakable and be limitless.